we go. Wait, take.
He's got Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles a man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's gonna score!
That's right, y'all. It's no weddings in the fall. We're going to cover some college football and some NFL football as well with my main man, the man of the hour. It is Ben Troupe. Welcome into the studio, my friend.
Commissioner, it's always a good time. It's always a good day when I'm in your presence, sir. Listen, not physically, but virtually, and I'll take it any way I can get it. This is no weddings in the fall. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do in the spring. I don't care what you do in the summer. I don't even care what you do. You know what I'm saying? You know, when it gets a little chilly outside, if I catch you in a freaking church in the fall, I'm going to have baby powder in my hand, and you're going to have my fingerprints up against your face. And I'm not slapping you because I'm mad at you. I'm slapping you because you made the wrong decision. You can get married anytime. We married to the game. Let's do it, Commissioner.
He's smacking the sense into you.
And I'm smacking you and running, by the way. I'm not going to be there when the police get there. I will be gone.
And ironically, filming here from my wife's lawyer office. So I got your back, man. You're good to go. All right, let's pay the bills first. Go to Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code Troupe. We're going to double that deposit up to $100. Lots of great promos and stuff on Underdog. So go check it out. Lots of different ways you can play. You can have a lineup starting from Thursday to Monday. You could do just Saturday only. All kind of fun stuff. And it doesn't just include NFL. They have all kind of stuff. So go check it out. Use that promo code Troupe. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, do us a solid. Hit subscribe, hit like, throw us a comment. Little things stopping you from doing it. Big things popping for us when you do. So I do appreciate it. Also, a shout out to Pro-Am Belts. If you're looking for some championship bling for your fantasy champion, look no further than Pro-Am Belts. All right, my friend, let's get it on. We're going to talk about last week with the week on repeat. But before I hit the little transition, it's ironic that last week I even made mention of it, how much I enjoyed our little transition song. Well, I got a little message from YouTube telling me it's copyrighted and all this stuff. So I just want to give a shout out again to the guy who made it because it's cool. And a shout out to YouTube because listen, at the percent of a penny you paying me, keep it. I can keep that. I like that song. We're going to keep playing it. Shout out to her. I got to find out who makes it. I really do like it. All right, let's get it on. We're going to talk about the week on repeat. Let's go first. Let's go to USC versus Michigan, 27-23. Michigan wins. This is on my notes here. Michigan wins with 32 yards passing the entire game. Wow. Caleb Mullings, 159 yards, 2 TDs. Donovan Edwards, 74 yards in the TD. USC's Miller Moss, they actually did a little passing, 283 yards in the air, 3 TDs. And he spread the ball around, which was nice, too. Nice to see. Zachariah Branch, main guy, six receptions and 98 yards. And Jaquavius Marks, 100 yards and TD. Excuse me, my bad. Rushing, 100 yards rushing in a TD. He had 5 receptions for 40 yards. What'd you think of this ball game, Ben?
I mean, at first it was all Michigan. I mean, they came off the bus saying, look, we're going to run the ball on first down. We're going to run the ball on second down. And if and when we get in third and long, we're going to run the ball. Got out to a 14-point lead, 14-0 lead really, really quick. But USC battled back. But here's the thing. Here's what's not being talked about enough when it comes to Michigan. Yes, USC was able to, really push it late with as far as how they pass the game. There's a young man that goes to Michigan by the name of Will Johnson. He plays cornerback. He's in a league all by himself. He had a pick 6 on Saturday. Had another pick 6 early in the year for like 86 yards. Who does he remind you of? He wears number 2. Charles Woodson, the great Charles Woodson, the only defensive player to ever win the Heisman, by the way. Will Johnson will be a top 5, definitely a top 10 pick in his upcoming draft. I'm only saying that to say this. Stop trying him. If he's on the right, throw to the left. If he's on the left, throw to the right. And if you don't know where he is, just run the ball because he's everywhere. You never there. Shout out to Will Johnson. But shout out to Michigan getting back to their winning ways. I think that it was USC showed a lot of promise late. Lincoln Riley can develop quarterbacks. The problem is, coach, you start developing a little bit too late. And like I said, if you cannot stop the run when you play in Michigan, you can't beat them. They told those receivers, y'all blocking today. I don't know what they did during the week. Receivers, tight ends, fullbacks, y'all blocking today, and they got the win, man. Michigan gonna need it moving forward as the season moves along. But great game though. Kind of little controversy at the end, but USC did make a good game of it. But shout out to the defending national champions, getting a big win.
Yeah, big win indeed. Like you said, they were out early, and I was like, okay, this is going to be, and then USC, as you mentioned, came roaring back a bit, and Michigan's got its work cut out for them this season if they want to get into the playoffs, if you will. So we'll see how it goes going forward. Tennessee versus Oklahoma, 25-15, Tennessee. This is hilarious. Amongst skill players at Oklahoma, I had to double check this like 3 times. Yeah. There is not one running back, not one receiver that went over 23 yards. Wow. That is a defensive dream. What did you think of this matchup?
At first, it was a defensive slugfest. Tennessee told, Coach Venables, the head coach of Oklahoma, he used to be the defensive coordinator for Clemson, so he's very defensive minded. And they was going toe to toe. I'm like, what's going on with Oklahoma? They playing defense, and then all of a sudden, Nico Lamaleva, these crazy last names for these quarterbacks that live out there. Either they live in California or they live out there, or they live in Hawaii. You got Tua, and then you got DJ Uiagalelei. Now you got Nico Lamaleva. You got to learn his last name because the boy is a star. Tennessee, they kind of ran away with it late, but I will say this: what's been impressive about Tennessee, you got a freshman quarterback in there, Nico. That offense is high power. Now I know Oklahoma made them look, not as dominant as they've been, but they got the win. I mean, Nico Lamaleva. I remember him coming out of high school. I think the kid already has like a $10 million NIL deal. I think he's worth every penny. Haven't really got into the schedule yet. But shout out to Oklahoma for making a game of it, though. I think Tennessee going on the road to Oklahoma, just because Oklahoma lost, that is not an easy place to win. But shout out to them Vols. The Vols, like every team, has been waiting on the quarterback. I think they got one. We'll see how good he is as the season goes on. But for one day, and if you play for Oklahoma had guys like, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts, this bum named, Kyler Murray. They had guys like CeeDee Lamb, right? And D.D. Westbrook and those guys. They had receivers that's up for the Blitnikoff. Now, you could put all their stats combined. They might have had 150 yards together. Don't know what's going on in Oklahoma right now. They are not going to win a lot of games with that type of offensive production. But shout out to them Vols going up to Norman and getting the big win.
I had to check if that was like Pee-wee stats. I just could not believe that.
The offensive coordinator for Oklahoma right now is telling his wife, "Sweetie, if it don't get any better, no. This is why we rent. This is why we didn't purchase the home, because we're gonna be out of here." What you mean? And then we're gonna be out of here way before the season over. If that type of offensive performance keep happening and we ain't getting no wins, they're gonna blame me. So I'll take the money, but I need the production. But shout out to Tennessee defense, man. I know they got that high-powered offense. That defense, they came to play as well.
Listen, if any team, I don't care what team it is. It could be whatever. I don't even know. One of those like Colgate. One of those type teams. You hold their skill position players to under 20. Every one of them under that amount. That's crazy, great defense. So yeah, like you mentioned, shout out to Tennessee's D. That offense starts clicking. Watch out, man. Tennessee going to be somebody to be reckoned with. Yeah. All right, let's go to your favorite, the team you love. You love talking about Colorado. But this week, what a game that was. Colorado versus Baylor, 38-31 OT. Listen, we done said his name a few times. Now, obviously, we talk about Sanders. I don't know about that. But Travis Hunter, oh my God. Like, I don't care what he does, man. Just draft this kid. Like, I don't care where you put him. An old school Iron Man football player that's putting in work on both sides of the football. Man, shout out to Travis Hunter. But what a great ball game. to say the least. What's your thoughts on this one?
It was beautiful to watch. Baylor took Colorado to the brink, and then all of a sudden, they needed it. One of the best. Listen, the hardest play in football is like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal with 1 yard to go. The hardest play to complete is a Hail Mary because it's all luck. I don't want to hear that. Oh, we practiced this. It doesn't matter. Shedeur Sanders said, "Listen, I'm gonna get in the end zone. We got to get this Hail Mary. We got to force overtime." And then it happened. Travis Hunter, I don't know who's the best. I don't know if Texas is the best team. I don't know if Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State. I know who the best player is. The best player in college football is Travis Hunter. You don't got to like it. You don't got to agree with me. But here's the thing about Travis Hunter. He had a pick. He always has double-digit catches, but got the game-sealing fumble. And when they going in to score, the thing about Travis Hunter is he is built for the moment. This kid understands. He understands, schemes. He understands what the offense is trying to do. And he understands that these guys going to be loose with the football because he catches the football a lot. Travis Hunter, he's going to make a team very, very happy. Probably my Falcons, because they'll definitely probably be picking in the top 5 in 2025. That's something else to talk about. But shout out to Travis Hunter. Shout out. It's something that Deion said after the game. Coach Prime was like, listen, man, if you don't believe in God, you need to start to. Because what just happened out there, because the thing about Colorado is, Commissioner, is this. I don't know why people dislike. Do people dislike Colorado or do they dislike Deion? Do people dislike Shedeur or do they dislike Travis? Either way, Travis Hunter is as good as advertised. Shedeur Sanders is really, really good. But you know how I know Shedeur is good? Because he got Travis. As long as Travis run out there, he said, I'm throwing it at 12. I don't care. So shout out to them. There's a shout out to them Buffaloes because, like I said, I had no reason to watch Buffalo until 2 years ago, just like I didn't have a reason to watch Jackson State until Deion Sanders and company was there. But now they out there in Boulder, they getting wins, and they must see TV. Shout out to them Buffaloes getting it done.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's not necessarily Deion the person. It's as an old school. I love the Hurricanes, and so it was that team back when I was younger that you either love the Hurricanes or you hated them. And Colorado is not quite up to that, level as far as success. Yeah. But at that same token, it's the hype surrounding them. It's the flashiness. For some reason, people don't. I love it personally, but
I love it. But Commissioner, this is why people don't like Deion. Deion was the man when he was at Florida State. Right? Obviously, he had the interview saying if Detroit, try to draft him, they're gonna make him. He's gonna charge so much money. They're gonna have to put him on layaway, right? Then he goes into the NFL, and he won the Troupe Award at Florida State. He goes to the NFL. He's Deion in Atlanta. He wins the Super Bowl with San Francisco. Wins the Super Bowl in Dallas. Goes to Washington. Ends up with the Baltimore Ravens. How do I know? Got a chance to play against Deion Sanders. My second year in the NFL, which was crazy. He wore number 37. He actually signed his cleats and gave it to me after the game. Deion is larger than life, and I don't think it's something that he tries to be. He just is. He was great in television after football, right? He played baseball. Listen, the camera loves him, and now he got kids that are really, really good. But one being a quarterback, one being a DB, and the other one, it makes sure his son, Deion Sanders Jr., he's the reason why we see him every second. We see him getting up, going, walking in the facility, walking out of the facility. Listen, Deion, I love you. You ain't have to show us your feet, though. Like, I get it. You ain't have to do that. The lady sitting there lotion. Whoever has the lotion Deion Sanders feet with the 3 toes, they don't pay you enough. I'm just saying. But I think it's the access that people ain't used to, because as great as Saban was, ain't nobody want to see Saban that much. As great as Kirby Smart is, and Dabo Swinney was, and Urban Meyer, and all these great coaches, did I really want to see Urban Meyer all the time? I think what Deion is doing, he's showing us how great of a dad he is, as well as how great of a coach he is. And obviously, he got some really, really good players. Now, how good is he going to be when Travis Hunter has moved on? That'll be next year. But for right now, he's great for TV. The president and athletic director at Colorado is loving him because that revenue, it's coming in like crazy. So he's talking about Deion right now. But shout out to the Buffaloes of Deion Sanders, man. He's Coach Prime, and no matter where he goes, he gets his own apparel line, whether it's Jackson State or Colorado. But shout out to them Buffaloes, man. We talking about them. We watching them. You got to be good at something. People talking about you, watching you. We doing both.
And the word on Travis Hunter is getting around. I mean, even my son texted me, and he's telling me all about Travis Hunter, not knowing that I kind of know a little bit. So it was funny because I was like, I know, it's crazy. So it's very cool. It's a fun for me to watch someone play both sides of the football and love this game that much. I respect that 1,000%. So again, shout out Travis Hunter. Enjoy watching Colorado football. All right, let's get to the NFL, and I'm just going to rip this Band-Aid off because you just said a minute ago that the Falcons may end up getting Travis. Nah, bro, because the America's team, the Miami Dolphins, headed for that number 1 slot. The Dolphins get a
not the Jags got something to say about it.
Yeah, that's true. The Dolphins get a psycho beta beatdown in Seattle, 24-3. I don't even know what to say.
I think cool. This what I would say, Commish, about Miami. It ain't their fault. Like, look, we say this. I know you talk about it every week when it comes to these quarterbacks. We make so much about the starter. The NFL has shown you better got to have a number 2, but not a number 2 that's a number 2 that's good enough to be a number 1. He's just a number 2, but 32 starting spots in the NFL every Sunday. We get that part. But the thing about it is when you pay the starters, and let me say this, I ain't counting nobody's money. I ain't tapping nobody's pockets. When you pay a Tua, a Josh Allen, a Trevor Lawrence, a Daniel Jones, that much money, it's hard because at the end of the day, Commissioner, if you're the backup quarterback for Miami, you want to play for America's team, but your wife is like, no, you ain't going up there for no $500,000. No, backup quarterbacks go for like 10 mil. What a starter used to go for back when I played, like 10, 15 mil, that's chump change now to a backup. But you get to prove your worth. Because what happened on Sunday in Seattle is I said, look, man, guys dropping like flies. Because when you haven't played a lot of football and your body got to get used to getting hit, which means if Tua and the starters only get hit once a week, the backup ain't got hit in a long time. Like, he don't get hit in practice. He don't play in the preseason last time he got hit. But all of a sudden, there go a 300-pound D lineman coming at you. There go a 215-pound safety. There go a 250-pound D lineman, a defensive end or linebacker. And I think it's unfair. We knew that Miami was going to struggle because of the quarterback position. We didn't know that it was going to be like that. Because the thing about Mike McDaniels, and I'm going to keep saying this, Mike McDaniels' offense is built for elite players to do it. Tyreek, Tua, Jalen Waddle, A-Chain, and when you switch one person, we only switching the quarterback, but that's the one that makes it go. Because Brian Flores, we didn't ever get a chance to address you. What you said about Tua was some different kind of lies, man. He ain't good enough. He sucked. And what? Tua? No. You came from that Bill Belichick coaching tree, and you think that kind of stuff worked because Bill Belichick had Tom Brady. Because when he had what's his name? What's the I can't even think of his name right now. The freaking quarterback that went to San Francisco. Oh man,
Jimmy Garoppolo.
When he had Jimmy Garoppolo, it didn't work. When he had Mac Jones, it didn't work. I'm just saying. So for me, I want Miami. I know they got Huntley right now. I know they just paying people. If you are the GM, you got to treat the backup with the same love you treat the starter, because not in the NFL now, starting quarterbacks are like starting pitchers, man. They're gonna have some type of nick. You hope it ain't all season, but come on, man. I mean, like I said, the best teams, they got solid backups because, backups in the NFL are like windshield wipers on the car. You don't wait till it rains to say I need them. No, just in case it rains, I just flip a switch and we keep going down the road. And like I say, man, but shout out to Seattle though. No one saw them being undefeated right now either. I didn't see Geno and DK and those guys. They're a different coach, different players, same culture. But I do hope Miami get it right with the quarterback position, because when that offense is clicking, it is beautiful to watch. Because the thing about Tyreek is, Tyreek gonna play hard, but Tyreek looks very disinterested out there when he ain't got his boy Tua. And we'll see what's gonna happen with Tua. I know they got about 3 more weeks for him to come back, but I think Miami, I guarantee you, 2025, even when Tua come back in 2024, that quarterback room gonna look totally different, and it should.
Yeah, it really, really should. But I'll shout out to DK and the crew. Great job at Seattle. So let me go on my Dolphin rant. I talked about it last week. You just hit the nail on the head. Chris Greer did a horrific job this offseason with backing up Tua, a quarterback that had issues going into the season. Now, last year played well, was pretty much healthy, but you knew this was on the horizon. Why you didn't make a better effort to get a quality backup is beyond me. One thing I will shout out, though, is if the Miami Dolphins are not on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, I'm about to give my season tickets away, because I'm not going down to Miami. I live in Orlando, and I have season tickets. I'm not driving 3 hours on a Monday night to watch them kick field goals and hope for the best against the Titans. It's not happening. All you got to do, you got a older, maybe not as accurate, but at least almost the same prototypical type of QB sitting doing nothing. Get Russell Wilson to the Dolphins. Next thing you know, he could at least win some ball games for you. If Tua does come back this season, great. He fell right in. But now you have a quality backup in case something doesn't happen. Because, listen, quite frankly, windows don't stay open very long in the NFL.
They do not.
And right now, the Miami Dolphins window about to crack closed. So they need to make a move before, because they got paid all this money to Tyreek, paid all this money to Jim, paid all this money to Tua. What you going to do? Give Pittsburgh a second-round pick. I know it's high, but just give it to them. What does it matter? Because your window is now. So you got to do something now to save this season, or, again, what are we doing here? So we got to try to win ball games, and I think that's what the Dolphins
Russell, last name Wilson at Miami Dolphin. I mean, get on the phone. Listen, GMs, your job is to make sure you got the best players on the squad when needed. Not, well, I don't know what to do. What are you talking about? Go snatch him. And people say, why do a backup matter? Did you see Carolina, which I know we'll get? Did you see him? Did you see Andy Dalton? That's the same. Listen, same players, same team, same scheme. Different result, because the guy that you had at the start got happy feet. And because for people that don't know, the Carolina Panthers offensive line is ranked number 2 in pass blocking. Number 2, ask the Raiders. That's all I'm saying. Just ask the Raiders.
Yeah, that was a big surprise, boy. Andy Dalton. Please. All right, let's get
on Saturday, Sunday.
Let's get to a great game actually this weekend. It wasn't as great as I thought it might have been, but still was okay game. Ravens versus Cowboys. I mean, this is the battle of teams that were going to be in a hole unexpectedly, but the Ravens pulled it out 28-25. We talked about it last week. They finally did it. Give the ball to Derrick Henry, and guess what? Just what happens? You got a W in this matchup. All right, what are your thoughts on it?
It was ooh. So once again, number 22, Derrick Henry, former Tennessee Titan. Because with the Titans, we don't want to play our best players. We just let them move on. And not only let them move on, they move on to good teams, great teams. But anyway, the thing about the Ravens, they got back to what they do. The Ravens, when I think of the Ravens, I think great defense, run the football, play action pass. That's what I think of them. I think when the Ravens started doing what you mentioned on the Blonde Blitz, Commissioner, why do they try to get cute with this throwing the ball? Listen, I love you, Lamar Jackson, and you're very accurate. Look, man, you already got 2 regular season MVPs. What are you trying to prove? You've done it. You got a guy that's 250 pounds standing right beside you. He got gold cleats on, and just to add insult to injury, he puts like sleeves on his arm just to add insult when he stiff arm the hell out of people. Diggs, the cornerback for the
Cowboys.
The Cowboys. There's a play. The play that everybody's showing when Derrick Henry stiff arm the DB. Diggs was right there in the hole. Diggs said, okay, let me slide down. The receiver on him ran up and blocked the safety. Diggs fell to the ground. He wanted zero part of that. That's called a business decision. He said, oh, listen, Diggs, all of a sudden the stadium got really, really quiet, and he saw this light. And the light had 22 on it. He goes, what the hell? They said, can y'all hear that? There was a train coming on the track that he was on. And he said, I'm not finna get, and mind you, people think he got to step in and take that DeMarcus Lawrence, once again, Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons on a milk carton. You could not find me. Love this man's game. Love it. But if you saw the post-game press conference, I know people said they only lost by 3. I know it looked like that. And Dallas had a shot. But if all the Ravens got to do is keep on running the ball down their throat. Listen, there is something about NFC East defenses they don't want to tackle. Not the Eagles can't stop the run, right? The Giants, they can't stop nobody. I don't know what's going on with the Giants. They had a good game on Sunday, but we'll see what happens. And I think with the Dallas Cowboys, it's the same thing. Commissioner, what I appreciate the most was when they needed to get the first down to seal the game, what they do. They just ran the ball with Lamar. He ran 10 yards, got down, game over. And before we can even bat an eye, there go Jerry Jones doing an interview. Why don't Stephen Jones stand next to Jerry Jones? Stephen, move. You can't talk. Move. He always standing next to his freaking dad. Like, do we know you? You're only the president, Stephen, because you're his son. Which means if you were his nephew, you'll be working upstairs. We won't even know. You'll be parking cars. I'm just saying. Stephen Jones, get out of the way. I'm tired of Jerry Jones. But I will say this about the Ravens. If the Ravens can just have that same remedy, give the ball to 22, do play action pass, they're going to be hard to deal with because the Dallas Cowboys offense is not easy to stop. I know they got more, and Ezekiel Elliott still plays for the Cowboys. I know it don't look like it. There was a play. Dak Prescott threw a pick. Ezekiel Elliott is in, there's a video. Ezekiel Elliott, he's just running as fast as he can to hit nobody, to touch nobody. People like, Zeke, what the hell is you like? What are you doing? It's like he discombobulated. It's like you're going, bro, what is you doing? Anyway, and see, y'all are the fake American team. The real American team is actually in Miami. Y'all just got the star on y'all helmet, whatever. Zeke, if you're going to do that, hit somebody. But I thought it was a great game, Commissioner, because I think the Ravens reestablished themselves. Both teams came in needing to win. It's crazy that both teams come in 0-2, right? I'm like, the Cowboys and the Ravens 0-2. But the Ravens reestablished they got back to what they do. They got back to their identity. And Coach Mike McCartney, I'm telling you right now, I know you're the head coach of the fake American team. If you don't, you won't survive either. There are some coaches out there that might not survive the season. And one of them, I think, is in Dallas for perception reasons. Dallas is not going to win the Super Bowl. This ain't the year. No. The last time the Dallas Cowboys won Super Bowls, computers, I don't even know if computers was invented. Get out of here. So I'm just saying. But I do like the fact the Ravens got back to doing what they do in Dallas. Hey, man, another week, another loss, another CD Lamb about to beat the brakes off of Dak Prescott on the sideline. He apologized today. It was fake. That apology was fake. It was fake, faker than a $3 bill. But he did apologize because he don't want to look like him and Dak got a problem. But CD said, hey, bro, I don't want to get my money look like Brandon Ayuk out there at San Francisco. I can still run routes. Throw the ball to me because I don't want people thinking I took the money and became a regular player. But shout out to them Ravens, though.
Shout out to the Ravens, indeed. Yeah, again, follow the formula. You win football games. It's not that hard. That's why you brought the guy in. So you do the right thing. All right, let's go to the next one. Vikings versus Texans. And what a shock this was. 34-7. And if you didn't think the Vikings were for real, well, this game definitely woke you up. Very impressive indeed. This Vikings defense is for real. Texans offense has been oddly off, I guess, if you will. No pun intended. Tank Dell, where's he been at all season? So, it's one of those games where the Vikings are the hot team, and the Texans last year was that team that came in. They were hot, and this year everyone was high on them. I feel like their offense is sputtered as the season started, but a very convincing win by the Vikings. What are your thoughts?
Expectations is always that we think that the Texans are going to come out there and just dominate because of what we know of C.J. Stroud. And I know Joe mentioned her, but you mentioned you talking about Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz. You got a bunch of weapons with a defense that's really, really good with Will Alexander and Aziz Shazir and those guys. But I think Minnesota said, look, man, nobody's going to give us credit until we beat teams that no one expects us to beat, until we beat teams that got, MVP candidates in a C.J. Stroud, an offense that has offensive weapons galore. This wasn't close. Minnesota beat They beat Houston from the opening kickoff. Like this, it wasn't one of those. And sometimes, and I said about C.J. Stroud, I think he's already an incredible player. But I think sometimes, Commissioner, you get to smelling yourself a little bit. Not saying he's doing that, but everybody's talking about the Texans, DeMeco Ryan and this young Texas team. You add Diggs to go along with Tank Dell and Nico Collins. Right, and you had, Joe, you had Mixon, and you talk about, Damian Pierce, and you talk about, Cam Akers, and you talk about, Petrie and those guys on defense. Minnesota said, I know we ain't the sexy pick, yeah, but we play football over here too. I know we ain't who people expect to get anything done, but we do it over here too. Justin Jefferson, if you have not figured out, stop covering him one-on-one. What are you doing? Justin Jefferson was built to play receiver. He looks like it. He plays like it. He is the part. And I'm just happy for Sam I am Darnold. I think sometimes when people get to talking about it's where you play, not that you play, I think Minnesota has proven that from a guy. And guess what? Sam Darnold was the backup. Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be the starter, right? But I think when you look at the Minnesota teams as a whole, they play hard-nosed defense. That defense made see, if you listen, the first time you ever seen a Texans play was Sunday, you think, is this a team everybody talking about? Yeah, that's them. Them. Yeah, man. And well, what about this other team? You talking about that team in purple and white and gold? Hey, they told the odds makers, they told the people in Vegas, you bet it wrong. You made the wrong pick, but I like what I'm saying for Minnesota. And I think Houston gonna go through. They wasn't gonna go undefeated. I didn't see them losing to Minnesota, but that's why. Listen, the NFL is what the best of the best come to play, and sometimes you get humbled. The Houston Texans got humbled. I think they will learn from it. But if you are Minnesota, listen, 3 teams, 3 wins. They moving on to the next. And if you are Houston, go look at that tape. Be honest about what you see. Put your pride to the side and go back to work.
Yeah. So on Sundays, I bring out like a couple of TVs. So I want to be immersed on Sundays. And the one thing that I noticed from that game, and I remember saying it, is they forget one-on-one. Ben, at one point they were in the red zone, and Justin Jefferson was wide open. I could have thrown it to him. How is that possible? So either great scheming for the Vikings offense.
He's a right runner, man.
Or scheming on the other side of football.
If you want a receiver, go to LSU. They just I don't know where these people come from. Justin Jefferson, Chase, I'm talking about Jamar Chase. You talking about Malik Neighbors, which we'll get to. Good God, this boy don't even look like a rookie. Brian Thomas Jr. They're everywhere. They used to. So Justin Jefferson, you give him one-on-one, he comes out the huddle and sees just him and the cornerback and go, really? Y'all go, do you know who I am? All right. He's the Reaper, man. He takes DB souls. I'm telling you, he and it's silky smooth. His game is he had the whole world doing the gritty. People ain't got no rhythm, ain't got no business dancing. Had the whole world doing the gritty. And Mike Gesicki, they used to play for the Americans team. Mike Gesicki ain't never danced in his life. His wife said, "Please don't do it, Mike." He scored and did the gritty for about 50 yards. I was loving it.
He did that with the Dolphins. I was very embarrassed for him. At the end of the day, the Vikings are the hot team. They look like what we thought the Texans would look like, with a great defense and an even better offense. So it's ironic that they played each other, and this was the result. Speaking of surprises, let's go the Broncos versus the Bucks. 26-7 right there in Tampa Bay. That was a huge shock for me. And I have Chris Godwin on a lot of my fantasy teams. The way that game started, I was like, oh, this is great because, Baker's going to have to throw, get them back in it. Now Godwin got in the end zone. But, other than that, this offense looked horrific. Baker Mayfield kind of reverted back almost. Again, Broncos have a great defense. Don't take that away from them. It was more of a shock how their offense performed against the Bucks. So, all right, what are your thoughts on this one?
Very, very impressed by Bo Nix. Still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass, but what he means to that offense with his legs and keeping them out of harm's way. Sean Payton, for those of you who don't know, trying to say a Sean Payton play is like trying to learn Arabic. I don't know why these plays are so long. It's just ridiculous. It's like, why I got to call a play that take like 27 seconds to freaking say, and then I got to execute the play. Bo Nix is really getting better week by week. And Bo Nix lets you know it's not always about the pass and touchdowns. It's about the pass efficiency. It's about not turning the football over. It's about staying ahead of the chains. And if you just tell them that game, you would be like, wait, which one is Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield is playing for Tampa. Wait a minute, the rookie, that's the rookie looking like? Yeah, because Bo Nix is the guy that started off at Auburn. Right? People say he's scared to throw the football, so he goes out there with Dan Lanning, to Oregon, and you saw he was doing in the Pac-12, even though I don't know what the Pac-12 is anymore. I don't even know who's in that conference anymore. I think the Bucs sometimes they're frustrating because when the Bucs are like hot and cold. When they're good, but when they're bad, it's real bad. I mean, it's like Ty Bowles is saying, I don't know what happened. Mike Evans got neutralized. They found out Mike Evans is about as consistent as a football player since he came into the league. 1,000 yards every single year he's been in the league. Well, Mike Evans looked his age on Sunday, or either though he was out there running with them young boys. Patrick Surtain and company was like, listen, Chris Godwin, okay, cool, we'll let you get off a little bit. Not you, Mike, because Mike Evans they know that Mike Evans is like the heart and soul and the heartbeat of that team. He's been there the longest. Even though him and Chris Godwin won Super Bowls together with Tom Brady. But, yeah, I'm like you, Commissioner. It was weird because I was like, what is going on? Like, the Broncos, they dominating the Bucs like this? And in the NFL, you're going to have games like that, but you expect it to be from like a contender because the Broncos beat the Bucs. But do anybody expect them to be contenders in the AFC West? Maybe not. They're going to be better than the Raiders. Just trust me when I say this. We'll see. But it was just one of those weird games. But shout out to the Denver Broncos getting a big win. I think Bo Nix, like all these rookie quarterbacks, is about building confidence. I think he is getting better. He's getting more comfortable in the offense. They're giving him more, because he's a guy that just like a Jaden Daniels, just like a Lamar Jackson, he got legs and he utilizes them. He's staying out of harm's way. But he got a big win. And like I say, you getting wins without throwing touchdown passes. What's going to happen when you start getting in the end zone through the air? Still has yet to get one, but really, really impressed by Bo Nix and the performance by the Denver Broncos against them Bucs.
Yeah, big surprise in that one for sure. All right, well, look, we talked about last week, and it was great football to watch, but what I want to know is what we gonna watch this week. I just realized I missed the Rams Niners. My bad. Let's go. What are we talking about this week? Let's go to the college first. Let's go number 15, Louisville versus number 16, Notre Dame. We got a nice little matchup, a mid-tier matchup, if you will. What do you think of this one?
I think Louisville is very, very dangerous because Louisville, they're 3-0. Tyler Show and those guys at O-line is really, really good. If the O-line can hold up against Notre Dame's D-line, I think Louisville got a shot to beat a very, very hot and cold Notre Dame team. Notre Dame, once again, they good when they good. But here's the thing about Notre Dame. Their passing attack is sometimes very, very lackluster, but I think if Notre Dame can find a way to establish, they're going to – listen, Notre Dame is at home. Louisville comes in with a lot of momentum. Notre Dame team, listen, Ohio State might have the most talented roster in college football, right? Followed by like a Georgia and Alabama. Notre Dame ain't far behind. Their roster is loaded. But it's like you get to asking yourself, what am I looking for when I'm looking at Notre Dame? His name is Mitchell Evans, another great tight end coming through that great tight end lineage with Notre Dame. But I think Louisville could be very scary, Commissioner, because no one expects Louisville to do anything. Last time Louisville was good is when they had Lamar Jackson. That's the last time they was good. I'm just saying. Do you watch Louisville? No, not if it's not basketball season. This is football season. Louisville find a way to get it done. But listen, they are ranked number 13. They had a big win, an impressive win last week against Georgia Tech, who started out the season overseas, beating Florida State. Notre Dame, they won last week, but it wasn't impressive. I'm going to go with Notre Dame only because they're at home, but I will be watching them Cardinals. They're going to make life really, really tough because if that Louisville O-line can hold up against that vaunted Notre Dame D-line, Coach Marcus Freeman, man, I know he looked like a model over there on the sideline. He's going to be sweating bullets if Louisville come in there and they sneak a win out.
Yeah, his makeup might be running on that one. Yeah, this is a real interesting matchup. Like you said, Notre Dame's very hot and cold. So I'm interested to see if Louisville can pull this out. It'd be a big win, not only for the season, but for the school itself, putting them possibly up into the top 10. So we shall see. Number 9, Penn State versus number 19, Illinois. I'm kind of like, on this one because I feel like Illinois, is one of those teams that right now they're ranked, but, going against someone like Penn State, feel like might see a beat down enough to get them out of this top 25. But what are your thoughts?
Listen, Coach John Franklin is one of the best coaches in college football. He hasn't ever won, the Big Ten championship yet because he had to deal with the Michigan States. He got to deal with the Ohio States, right? He got to deal with a lot of guys around him. But Illinois is dangerous. Look, Luke Altmaier, 862 yards, 10 touchdowns on the season. The defense fighting the line now, 10 sacks, 7 picks. Already, 10 sacks, 7 picks. I think when we get to talking about what I'm looking for the most when it comes to this game, is Penn State for real? Are they pretending? Or are they for real? Because the thing about Penn State at the end of the day, Penn State is really, really good when no one expects when no one expects them to go out there and get it done. But then they can lay it in. Coach John Franklin, make a lot of money, find a way to get it done. But Drew Allar, 729 yards for the Nittany Lions, 8 touchdowns, defense 4 sacks, 3 picks. Penn State is different at home. They are at home. I will take Penn State.
All right, let's get to the big one of the day. Number 2, Georgia. Now, how this team is still number 2 goes back to our original show when we talk about these rankings need to just go because it doesn't make any sense how much this team is struggling and they're still number 2. But they're going against number 4 Alabama, and I think that's what we all know why they want to remain number 2. You want to have a nice number 2 versus number 4 matchup coming up this weekend. But I'm here for it, and honestly, I'm not the biggest Alabama fan, but I can see them winning this game as much as Georgia has struggled with these other teams. So what are your thoughts on this one?
The last time we saw the Georgia Bulldogs, they had to go all the way to the brink to beat the Kentucky Wildcats. Yes, they came out with the win, but that offense looked dismal. Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator for Georgia right now, he's the most hated man in Georgia, in Athens, in college football, because they're like, what are you doing? Carson Beck still had 680 yards, 7 touchdowns, no picks on the season. But the defense for Georgia, they ranked 3rd nationally for defense. For scoring defense, they don't give up a lot. But the thing about Alabama, I don't care what nobody say. That is, they breed kids to come there to be successful. Jalen Milroe, 590 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, no picks, 156 rushing yards this year, 6 touchdowns. The young man is talented. There's a young man on the offense by the name of Brian Williams. He's a true freshman wide receiver. Why is he dangerous? The young man was Mr. Alabama his junior year and sophomore year. So he said, forget football my senior year. I'm just going to reclassify. Go to Alabama right now. He's supposed to be in high school. Right now, he's in Alabama. He said, look, I want to miss what I got to do 3 years in a row. Most of the time, it's a football. Go to quarterbacks, go to running backs, go to a crazy like safety. He plays wide receiver. I think he had like 40-something touchdowns in 2 years in high school, just ridiculous numbers. But I think the thing, what I'm looking forward to, it's a nightcap, by the way. I think Coach DeBoer, the new head coach of Alabama, replacing Nick Saban, he's establishing his culture because he has the culture already there. Yeah, he's bringing in the things he want to do, his sayings, his motivations. It's Alabama, man. It's the only Ferrari in the state of Alabama. Ain't no Ferrari in Auburn. Ain't no Hugh Freeze. If it is, Hugh Freeze, the head coach of Auburn, he done wrecked it. Because he goes, what does this kid do? Oh my God. So there's something about Kirby Smart having his Bulldogs ready for prime time. The world is gonna be watching. It's the new dynasty versus the old dynasty. It's Georgia versus Alabama. And the only time I remember Georgia beating Alabama is when they was in the national championship and both their starting receivers was hurt. Well, now everybody's healthy. We'll see what happens. It will be fireworks. It will be fireworks Saturday night in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I will be watching.
I like it. I'm ready. I'm excited for this one, say the least. So, and like I said, I can, Georgia did struggle, but, it's one of those things.
If they struggle on Saturday night, it's going to be a long night.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It could be one of those things. Maybe they're playing up to their opponent. You never know. So we'll see. Of course, it's one of those funny things that, of course, Georgia coming blowing them the hell out. So we'll see how this one goes. But, excited to see the matchup nonetheless. All right, let's turn the page to the NFL. And let's go first. We were just talking about them a minute ago. Eagles at Bucks. The Bucks lead the overall series 12-1. Last time they played was in the playoffs last year, and the Bucks won 32-9. This game is very interesting, being that both teams now, although Eagles pulled out a victory last week, feel like offensively still not quite clicking yet. And the Bucs were clicking on all cylinders until last week, getting the beat down by the Broncos. So this is an interesting game. I like to see the Bucs bounce back a little bit, but Eagles are still a great team. So what are your thoughts on this one? What do you like?
It's gonna be. I do think the Bucs get back to what they do. Is like Baker Mayfield means a lot to that offense. Going to find a way to a Eagles secondary that has really been lackluster. Like, I mean, they got a lot of big names, Darius Slay and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Blankenship, and those guys, but hasn't really lived up to it. Because I think the thing about this Eagles team that's the biggest head scratchers, you got Jalen Carter, you got Jordan Davis, you got Nakobe Dean. Oh, you missing Hassan Reddick. Because people are like, he ain't that good. What the pass rush? Where is the pass rush? When Jordan Davis got the only sack, that means that's an interior defensive lineman. Remember Devin White? Remember, there used to be the linebacker for the Tampa Bay Bucs. He's over there with the Eagles, and I thought he was going to be the starter. He's the backup. I think it's going to be a good game. But here's the thing. If A.J. Brown is not playing, which I don't think he is, Jalen Hurts is a different guy. Like, he plays well, but you need that safety net. You need that guy that you can just go make a play. I think it's a back and forth. I think the Bucs realize that all you got to do is run the ball at the Eagles. I think the Bucs can probably win by a field goal because, like I say, listen, look for the matchup with Mike Evans versus Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They're going to be talking. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is talking trash right now to somebody. I don't know who it is. Maybe it's his dog, his neighbor, his chef. I don't know. The man talks trash for a living. But watch out for that matchup. I think the Bucs find a way to get an ugly win against the Eagles team. Nick Sirianni, I know you've been to a Super Bowl. Now you're having beef with your quarterback. But I'm going to say this. I know you said on another show, the if game, if the Philadelphia Eagles get a ball to Saquon Barkley, they got a shot to win. Saquon Barkley is as good as a player can be. Saquon, just ask the Saints what happened when he bust up the middle. He was gone. I'm talking about gone. You get a ball to Saquon, I got you winning. But if you start trying to get cute and validate these quarterbacks, that being Jalen Hurts, he could throw the football. I don't know if Jalen Hurts can throw the football around better than Baker Mayfield. So they make it a back and forth affair. I go with the Bucs, but if they hand the ball to Saquon, give it to me.
Jalen Hurts is a great athlete. A cerebral QB, I would not label him. There are very much some mistakes that should not be made by an NFL star QB. I would expect them from a middle tier to lower tier type QB, but this is the elite of the elite making really silly decisions, and on top of a coach that furthermore makes really silly decisions. And even the Saints in that game made a very silly decision. They went for it on fourth down when they had an easy field goal they could have made. And obviously the Eagles were playing this game as well. It's very simple, guys. I know we're all with this new analytics and all this stuff, but when you're like, outside the 50 or, in the 40, somewhere in there, and it's a long field goal, and you want to go for it, just punt the football. Like, that's what we do. We pin them back. We play good D. Then you get better field position the next time. And your defense was playing well, so it didn't make any sense. My wife's a huge Eagles fan, so we were all in that game. And all I kept saying, she got mad at me at one point because I kept saying what I said on the show, give Saquon the football. In the beginning of the football game, my wife said, well, they're blitzing. And I was like, yeah, perfect. Run a draw. Run it right to him. That's what I would have done. So anyway, finally, that started to click a little bit. Nice to see that. And I agree with you. If they do that, mark that formula, they're going to win this football game. If they do not, they're going to revert back to losing because the Bucs put a beat down on them last year. Jalen going in this game having to throw the football. You already got A.J. Brown out. You got Devonta Smith banged up. I don't know if he's even going to go. So you might have a receiverless team. Jahan Dotson basically being your main guy. And then obviously Goddard had a big day last week as well.
Yes.
So if they play it up that way, they got a shot. If not, I like the Bucs with you as well, like that. All right, let's go. Saints at your Falcons. Believe it or not, divisional opponents. This series is tied 55-55. Crazy enough. They split last season. It was 48-17 Saints, 24-15 Falcons. Who wins this one?
Both teams coming off, heartbreaking losses. I think I think the Saints gave the game away, and then the Eagles took it. I think the thing about the Falcons is they had the defending world champions on the ropes, and you run the same dumb little play that hasn't got any yards. Nick Bolton for the Kansas City Chiefs, one of the best linebackers no one talks about in the National Football League, but that's neither here nor there. Kirk Cousins is getting more comfortable in the offense. He still can't find a way to throw the ball to Kyle Pitts. I think that was a pass interference call. I'm gonna let that Monday night game go at this point. This is going to come down to this for me. They find a way to if Atlanta's defense can find a way to make Derek Carr look like Derek Carr, they got a shot to go out there and win the game because Alvin Kamara is that offense right now. I know they got some receivers. I know they got some guys that can go out there and get it done. But for me, Atlanta has to find a way to get Bijan Robinson the ball, throw the ball to Drake London, and those people say, well, maybe he can't see Kyle Pitts. Yeah, Kyle Pitts is only 6'6". He's 6'6". He looks like he played for the Hawks, and you can't even freaking throw the ball to him. Atlanta's defense has gotten much better. Listen, they held Patrick Mahomes to 22 points. You know how hard that is? 22. And he is Younghoe Koo, another big-time kicker for Atlanta. I know his range is anytime they ain't past 50, but I don't like the commissioner. Stop kicking. What's up with these 50 and 60-yard field? For what? It's great when it goes in. But if it don't, the opposing offense like, dude, you gonna give us that type of field position? Let's get back to regular. Listen, don't kick a 55-yarder and then miss the freaking extra point. Doink. What are we doing? Atlanta finds a way to get Bijan Robinson the ball, spread the ball on offense, and let the defense just keep doing what they're doing. Because I think Atlanta got one of the best safety tandems in the National Football League with Bates and company and those guys, but the Saints ain't gonna make it easy. It's a national rivalry. No one likes the Saints. They gonna listen. I'm gonna be at the game. The Aints gonna be taking over the dome because they play in the suit. They play in the dome. We play in the dome. We play in Mercedes Dome. They play in Mercedes Dome. I like the colors black and gold. Just not on the Saints. Alvin Kamara is an Atlanta native. He's from North Cross. He got the platinum grill, and the dude is just nice. He's just really, really good at football. Find a way to neutralize him. Make Derek Carr look like Derek Carr. And maybe Derek Carr throws a couple of picks and Kirk Cousins won't look his age. I think the Falcons got a shot to get a big win.
I actually am going to agree. I think the Falcons do pull this off. I think the Saints are kind of coming back down to earth a little bit, riding off the big wins. I know that they lost last week, heartbreaking loss at home. Like you said, kind of gave the game away. Obviously, they're going to want to bounce back, but you're going against a divisional opponent who's at home, also trying to bounce back from a loss. Definitely was pass interference, by the way. So I think the Falcons do find a way to pull this out. I like Kirk Cousins, like you said, it's starting to click a little bit. And the Saints defense is real good. Don't get it twisted. But again, knowing your opponent obviously is a big deal. And this is somebody they are very familiar with. So you can throw away all the defensive things and all the rankings when you have divisional games because they know each other so well, very familiar with each other. So I'm going to go Falcons at home. Maybe if it's in New Orleans, I may go that way. But in this one, I think the Falcons can pull this off. All right, let's go Seahawks at Lions. Like you mentioned, the surprising 3-0 Seahawks. They lead the series 13-5. Played last year, and Seahawks won 37-31 in overtime. It's actually 6 wins in a row for the Seahawks. What do you think of this matchup?
I think it's going to be. I think the Detroit Lions. Are really, really different at home. I think Coach Campbell be having those guys ready to play. Jared Goff has really, really shown that he is a franchise quarterback. He just was at the wrong franchise on the West Coast. Get him back out there the way they make cars. And he's going to have Calvin Johnson and probably a bunch of old Detroit Lion greats at the game. But the thing about this Seattle team is their defense plays really, really well. And once their offense get going, they're really, really hard to stop. DK Metcalf, he don't like nobody with the opposing jersey on. Nobody, right? I just think that when you think about this game, though, I think Coach Campbell gonna have a scheme for Geno and company. I think gonna have a scheme for that offense to say, look, we play gritty up here. Aiden Hutchinson. Hutchinson, he had 5 sacks a couple of weeks ago. They lost the game, but this kid has been a nightmare since he got drafted. I like the way Detroit plays a certain style of football. They want to punch you in your face, like play after play after play after play. I think that the Seattle Seahawks are built to take those punches, but Seattle is different at home. I know I mean, I'm sorry, Detroit is different at home. I know Seattle comes in undefeated. I think they get their first loss. I think it's a good game, but I think Jared Goff and company. Listen, there's a kid that plays for Detroit. His name is Jahmyr Gibbs. Find a way to get him the ball. The young man is lightning the bottle. Georgia native, went to Georgia Tech, ended up at Alabama, first round pick 2 years ago behind Bijan. Him and Bijan Robinson both in the first round. But I think Detroit gets back to their winning ways. I think it's a good game. I think it's a back and forth, but Detroit say, listen, man, if we in striking distance in the fourth quarter, we can come catch you. And if we ahead of you in the fourth quarter, we're gonna pummel you, giving them Lions.
Yeah, these teams almost are spitting mirror images of each other. You got the QBs that are almost about mid-tier. I think Jared Goff kind of give a little bit of edge to him if we're going head to head. We got a 2-man running game if Kenneth Walker obviously is healthy. You got Zach Charbonnet there. On the other side, you got David Montgomery, you got Gibbs. So, and then the two, great receivers on both sides of the football as well. I think the difference though in this one is, as you mentioned, Dan Campbell has a certain identity on himself, which he has reflected on this team, which is toughness. And again, as you mentioned, they are tough to play at home. So again, I agree with you. I really like the Lions in this particular matchup. And and this is not even a toss-up, because I think even if the Lions went from they're not really East Coast, but maybe mid whatever to the West Coast, I still would be going Lions because I just think that they are overall have a slighter edge, especially on the defensive side of the ball. All right, Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs lead this series 69-58-1. Chiefs swept last season 13-12 and 31-17. It's actually been 5 in a row. So that's 2 seasons in a row the Chargers have been swept. Is it going to happen again, or at least it's going to start to happen again this weekend? What do you think?
Kansas City owns real estate in Los Angeles, and it's with the Chargers. The Chargers probably not going to have Derwin James. I think he had a hit that's going to probably get him suspended for the 1-game suspension. Listen, you got Joey Bosa, you got Asante Samuel Jr. You got Khalil. You got a bunch of players. Nothing. And I think the thing about Kansas City is Kansas City got Chris Jones. They got a defense. They got Nick Bolton and those guys. You know what you're gonna get. But here's I think we're gonna get established on Sunday. Travis Kelce, we know he's I don't know if he's engaged. Taylor Swift. We understand he's okay. He's doing national commercials now. He got Officer Dan mustache, that police officer mustache that pull you over in the middle of the night when you've been drinking and you turn on and made the wrong left. I get it. What do you want, Officer Kelce? He's been on a milk card as of late. We haven't seen that much of Travis Kelce. And Travis gonna say all the right things, but behind the scene, he's going, "What's up, Andy Reid? What's up, Patrick Mahomes? No, I don't want to take no pictures with you in public. You don't even want to throw me the ball." I think they get back to establishing Travis Kelce in his offense. And I think that when you think about what Kansas City does, Kansas City is a complete team. Because once again, great teams don't care how it looks. They just want the W. They don't care. Good teams care how they look when they win. Great teams just want to win. Kansas City just want to win. And the thing about Harbaugh, he's coming back down to earth too, because he's realized, dude, I got all these stars. It don't matter. The Chargers always had stars. They had Keenan Allen and those guys. The Chargers when they was in San Diego, Daniel Thomason. They had Antonio Gates. They had Phillip Rivers. Sean Merriman lost. I don't get the culture, whether it's San Diego or Los Angeles, when it comes to the Chargers. I know what Harbaugh is trying to do, but Harbaugh gonna say, "Hey man, I know he has the man crush on Justin Herbert. He has to." Oh my God, I wish I had. No, the man crush is gonna walk out with the only man in America that's not a country man from the country that wears overalls, that lives on a farm, that has a mohawk. His name is Patrick Mahomes, and he is a beast. I don't know how he keeps doing it, but he does. Give me Kansas City to keep doing what they've been doing, and that's owning. They're now lost because they was owning when they was in San Diego. Now they went to LA, ain't nothing changed. Still Southern California. It don't rain in Southern California, and the Chargers cannot beat Kansas City. That has been.
Yeah, it's like say put a lipstick on a pig, but that whole thing. But look, the bottom line is, again, I think this is an easy Chiefs win. That's not discounting what the Chargers and Harbaugh has done. I kind of pushed them to the side, and I really shouldn't have, because as you mentioned, all those players on the defense that have been there, now all of a sudden he's got this defense playing well like this. Wow, what a difference some coaching makes. So the defense has been playing okay. I love the Travis Kelce shout out, because fact of the matter is the Chargers actually, in the chink of their armor, is they are 22nd against fantasy tight ends. So it's a good shout out there with Pacheco being out. You're going to see, I think, a little more passing out of Patrick Mahomes to kind of alleviate some of the loss from the running game. I know Kareem Hunt was activated. I'm not getting too excited just yet. There's a reason no one had signed him. So let's, kind of wait and see. He's going to have to build himself back into this offense. Again, Carson Steele, you mentioned him earlier. I like the Chiefs, but I just want to give a little shout out to the Chargers, because I do respect them a little more than I did going into the season, the way they play defense. When Herbert hurt, they have no shot. Let's face it. All right, let's go. Final one, Bills at Ravens. Can't wait for this one. Ravens are lead the series 6-5. Bills won last time they played, which is 2022, and they won 23-20. We got a whole two theme going, because it's 2 in a row for the Bills. So epic matchup here. What do you think? Who wins it?
Because in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. I don't know who the man is. I get that right now. Right now, Josh Allen is on an MVP type run with what he's doing. But he's staring at a guy that got 2 regular season MVPs and Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen told Lamar Jackson, "Hey, listen, man, everybody want to talk about you being a dual threat. My rushing yards and rushing touchdowns are up there with you. But everybody want to talk about you. Why? Because, you got the MVPs. I'm built like an MVP. You the reason why Joe Flacco is moved on to greener pastures. I got the best fan base, one of the best fan bases, if not the best, in NFL football. And I know I played the Jaguars last week, and I know you just played the Cowboys. But what you gonna do when I'm standing across from you? Because Lamar Jackson, 6'2", 200 pounds? I want to say Josh Allen, 6'5", 250 pounds. This is gonna come down to styles. Which one of their styles is gonna be suitable for them to get the win, and who's gonna stick to what they do? What do the Ravens do? They run the football. They play defense. What do Buffalo do? They give the ball to Josh Allen and say, "Man, snap the ball, do what you do." But they got closers on that defense when it comes to the Buffalo bit, because Buffalo defense, they saying this, man, why everybody always talking about the Baltimore Ravens defense? That ain't Ray Lewis right there. That ain't Ed Reed right there, right? That. But I think that what I like about the Ravens is they tend to get it back to who they are. We said this last week, Commissioner. There's no way they were going to start 0-3. Harbaugh don't know nothing about that. Start 0-3 with the Ravens. And I think Lamar Jackson is starting to say, look, man, they brought over Derrick Henry just like Saquon is in Philly. He's 250 pounds. He's the king. He's Derrick Henry. Give him the rock. Derrick Henry is the he don't look fast. He's a long strider, but ain't nobody catching him. You know why? Because they got to hit him if they catch him. Get a ball to Derrick Henry. Play action pass that thing. Find a way to keep, because you want to find a way. You want to play keep away. You don't want Josh Allen with a lot of opportunities, because at a certain point, that 250 going to start leaning on you, and he is Mr. Emperor. To me, Josh Allen is Ben Roethlisberger, but he's athletic. They're both big, can make plays outside the pocket. Listen, shout out to Ben Roethlisberger, class 2004, my draft class. Love Ben Roethlisberger, but Ben Roethlisberger was a little bit too athletic. He wasn't athletic. He made plays. Josh Allen make plays, but he also makes himself, susceptible to injury. But give me the Ravens. I think the Ravens are just a little bit better at home. Buffalo ain't gonna make it easy on them. And once again, shout out to DeMar Hamlin getting his first interception in the National Football League. One of the great feel-good stories in the National Football League. But DeMar gets to meet Lamar on Sunday. We'll see who come out with the win.
Yes. So this game is really interesting. I do like the Ravens. I mean, we talked about this in the prior show on the Blonde Blitz that, to me, it's like an if game, as you alluded to earlier. If Baltimore does what they're supposed to, they should win this football game, because you're giving the ball to Derrick Henry. Buffalo against fantasy QBs are 26th in the league. It kind of sets up nicely. But then on the other side of the football, Ravens have struggled against fantasy QBs and receivers. Again, and actually tight ends as well. They're 31st against tight ends. So you could see Dalton Kincaid get a little
Austin Knox and Dalton Kincaid, they're going to hurt them.
You see Keon Coleman. I mean, so there's it could be a good day for Josh Allen too, but you want to keep him off the field as you talked about earlier. So again, the smart thing to do for the Ravens is to pound the rock against this Bills team. We'll see if it happens. If they do, they'll come away with the W. If not, this game could be one. I'm not going to say is the Jags game, but we've seen Baltimore struggle this year, and the Bills right now. I wouldn't want to play them.
Coach McDermott looking at Coach Harbaugh like, look, man, I respect you, but I ain't scared of you, bro. I know I got my name sounds like I'm an accountant that, you know what I'm saying, be messing up your money from now and again. And you and your brother, y'all like the Golden family when it comes to coaching. Y'all got to play each other in the Super Bowl, the Harbaugh Bowl, and all that. But Coach McDermott is a really, really good coach because he got his QB. Harbaugh is a good coach because he got his QB. They're going to bring their team with them. They're going to bring their identity with them. We'll see which identity is the real one. We'll see which one, going to need some type of going through an identity crisis. Because the thing about Buffalo, they just like the Ravens. If you get to playing with them, they will embarrass you. And even when the backup come in, they're still trying to score touchdowns. They still trying to get their fantasy points. So I think it's going to be a good one, though. Josh Allen versus Lamar. Lamar. I mean, two premier players at their position in their prime. Let's do it.
It is so true. I'm so glad you said that because that's so true. I feel like when Buffalo wins, boy, did they win. They just beat it down on it like a college game. They still trying to run the score up. So, yeah, I agree with you there. All right, well, we're down to that time of the show where I'm going to check on out of here. Don't forget on Friday, we're going to do a full breakdown on TSS Fantasy of all the matchups and give you who to start and who not to start in each game. And on Sunday, you can wake up with us, TSS Fantasy, at 8 a.m. We got lots of great stuff. We got betting advice. We got our NFL picks, your questions, because I know everybody got lineup questions when they wake up. So come check us out. We appreciate you. So it is that time of the show for Ben Skadoop of the Week. Let's go.
He's got Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles the man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's going to score.
What up, my great people? Listen, I am Ben Troupe, but I just got to get something that's on my mind, off my mind, something on my chest, off my chest. Everybody is so shocked at what's going on with these quarterbacks. Joe Burrow ain't playing well. Right? Trevor Lawrence ain't playing well. And then you got the young man up there in New York, not playing well. But then there's a young man named Jaden Daniels. Did you see what he did on Monday night? Did you see how well he played? And people saying, what's the difference? The difference is this. Just because you get money doesn't validate how good or bad the player is. Sometimes it's the fact of what the position that the player plays. Trevor Lawrence, right? Daniels. They in two totally different parts of their position in their career. One was the number 1 overall pick. The other was the 2nd overall pick. But I think the difference is this. I think that Jaden Daniels is built for prime time. I think Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow and those guys, I think we want them to be good. But I think we aren't accepting the fact that it just might not be in the cards. What do we know about the Jags? Mediocre. What do we know about Cincinnati? Been in the dumps outside of a Super Bowl appearance. What am I saying about Jaden Daniels? Keep watching the young man do what he do. And what does he do? Didn't have a perfect QB rating, but his name is Jaden Daniels, aka all he do is get them dimes to his receivers. I want us to start looking at quarterbacks for who they are, not who we want them to be. And let me say this: when it comes to this shit, this is no weddings in the fall. I am being true. No matter what, I better not catch you in no church in the fall, because while people get married, you married to the game. I love y'all. You be you. I'm gonna be Ben Troupe. He was the commission. This is no weddings in the fall. Do yourself a favor, like, share, subscribe. But you better be watching. Love. And I'm out of here.